Now, if you live in Florida, you might have heard of the Ponce de Leon Hotel. But did you know that this was built only to outbeat the Stetson Mansion? And when they built this, it was the largest concrete poured structure in America. Well, if you didn't, don't worry. I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, before I get too deep into this, I gotta say, this is gonna be a long video, all right? And I need y'all to stick in there with me because there's a lot of, accusations that are made in this, and I gotta go through everything just so y'all get it. Now, around 1883, 1884, John B. Stetson starts building his dream home here in DeLand, Florida. And while he was building this house, he had to get supplies in from all over the world. Now, at this time, a lot of things came in off the St. Johns River. DeLand sits right next to it. But John B. Stetson was too rich for that. Okay? He was like, no, I need my own railroad track so I can bring in these goods. Now, that's where Henry Flagler comes into play, all right? So John B. Stetson and Henry Flagler, they were best buds, right? So John B. Stetson goes to Henry and says, hey, look, hen dog, all right? I need you to do me a favor. Can you, build me a track, all right? Personally, privately, I'll be the only one using it. Can you do that for me? And Henry Flagler was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I got you, bud. I'm going to charge you. But I got you. So, in 1886, this house is finished, all right? They open it up. They call it a winter wonderland. And the thing about it is, a couple nights after he was done with all of this, he invites Henry over for dinner, all right? Show him the house. Show him everything that's going on inside of this house. And Henry loved it. Now, at this same time, Henry Flagler is building the Ponce de Leon Hotel actively because this hotel opens up 2 years later after the Stetson Mansion did. But when, he went to dinner with John B. Stetson at his house, a lot of things started changing when they were building this hotel. The thing is, John B. Stetson's house was state-of-the-art at the time, all right? Millions to build it. And the thing is, it had electricity, had a doorbell system. It was the first to have a lot of things in Florida, on top of it being the largest home built in the East Coast and possibly America at the time. Henry Flagler was like, look, I got to outdo this brother. I got to outdo him. Now, before he started building this whole thing, he already knew that he didn't want to go with like this wood structure that they had been using because they've had enough fires. They get the point. All right. But he goes to the, people that are building this. He says, look, I want to pour this thing concrete style and brick. And they were like, look, we're going to go over budget. Henry Flagler was like, I don't have a budget. So literally every inch of this place, all right, is either poured concrete or they, laid the bricks because he wanted it to be able to, stand the test of time. Hurricanes, you know what I mean? Fires. But the thing is that he didn't cut corners anywhere. This thing was 3 times over budget. Now, another important thing for Henry Flagler here at this hotel was the electricity. See, in Florida, there was electricity, but it was only part-time at the time. All right, if it was business hours or in the evening so you could cook. But there was only one other place that had 24/7 electricity. And that was the Stetson Mansion. So he goes to his construction company and was like, look, I need y'all to wire this whole thing with electricity. They were like, whoa, bruh, we don't do that. All right. So Henry Flagler was like, look, I got to get this done. So he literally calls Edison himself. All right. And says, look, how much you going to charge me to do this whole thing? He said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I just want it done. We ain't even worried about the price. Now, with that being said, this hotel, all right, it's the second building or structure, however you want to look at it, in Florida with 24/7 electricity. It don't never cut off. All right. Edison, he wired everything himself. Now, when he built this, all right, he brought in people from all over the world, all kind of designers and architects and artists, because he wanted to get like a world feel inside of this hotel because he wanted people to come from all over the world. And he did it, just that. I mean, because this place is beautiful. If you go online and just look up all these, different rooms and hallways in here, it's all just, you don't even understand how they built all of this in the 1800s. And another thing, I don't know if this is if this was common back in the day, but only rich people could, do this. So see the glass throughout this place was Tiffany glass. All right. And the Stetson Mansion, all right, which was, built first. That whole house loaded with Tiffany glass. I'm not saying that Flagler copied them, you know? But whatever. Now, everything inside of this hotel was top notch, all right? These one of the rooms here. It was so top notch that when they actually opened up this place, at first, it was just like the upper ups coming to this place. Presidents, politicians, superstars, stuff like that. Now, when they opened up the doors in 1888, all right, this place was packed, all right? Booked to the maximum. Matter of fact, before they even opened up, like a year before, this place was packed, all right? It's 540 rooms in here. That's crazy. Now, this place was, booming, like I said. But during the war, okay, World War II, this was no longer a hotel. They actually kind of, used it for like, people coming in for like the Navy and stuff like that. They could stay here. And also the twin towers that were connected to this thing, they loaded them up with like 8,000 gallons worth of water. And it became the water source for them while they were here during the war. Also, in the midst of all of that, from 1888 all the way up to like 1950, somewhere in that time frame, they also used this place as like a training facility. Somewhere in there. It didn't really give me an exact date, but the Coast Guard came here and trained. I don't know. So after the war, all right, they opened this back up to be a hotel, but things, never was the same. For about maybe 10 years, it did really good. People started coming back to the area because they weren't in the area because of the war. But that only lasted for a little bit, okay? Because, around 1966, 1967, they ended up closing the doors because business just wasn't the same. But this building didn't sit long as like nothing, because like the next year of it closing as a hotel, they actually opened it up as a museum. And this building now sits in the center of Flagler College. And if you've ever been to St. Augustine in the downtown area and you've passed this building, okay, you know that this building is massive, all right? It's massive. Even when you're walking past it or driving past it, it's just amazing to look at. The architecture on this building is phenomenal, top tier. Also, another thing, and I don't know really how true this is. If y'all know anything about this place, please put it in the comments. But it said that it's only been minimal upgrades done to this hotel since it's been built. If that's true, okay, this could probably be one of the best built structures that we do have in Florida. You think? All right, real quick before I get out of here, a couple facts about Henry Flagler, all right? Fact number one, we all know he was a railroad tycoon, all right? But he made majority of his money through real estate and investments. But I know a lot of y'all probably like, how much money did Henry Flagler have? So when he passed away, all right, his net worth at the time, okay, was somewhere between 100 million and 200 million. They don't really know what the number is. It could be anywhere in between that. And in today's money, that's somewhere between 12 billion and 20 billion. Bruh had that bread. Also, all right, last but not least, his money is still doing things in the state of Florida, all right? His foundations, build communities, send kids to college, feed the hungry, all right? Now, I know he got a bad past, especially in the Miami area, right? He destroyed a lot of communities. We know this, okay? For these railroads. But it's kind of good to see that his money is, trying to do something, okay? Pay a little bit of it back, Mr. Flagler. Please. Now, look, I don't know what y'all gonna do to remember this. Like it, comment, share it. I don't know. But the more you know. Peace.